A general requirement of the Food Safety Modernization Act, or FSMA's Produce Safety Rule, is that all agricultural production water applied directly to covered produce must be evaluated for the microbial quality of each water source. This is done by testing each water source to create a water quality profile. The water quality profile is used to calculate values to compare to water quality criteria in the FSMA Produce Safety Rule. In this video, we will demonstrate the step-by-step process for sampling your groundwater and surface water sources used for agricultural production activities. Completely answer all of the questions on the sample questionnaire, since this information will help the lab interpret the results of your analysis. Also, make sure the sample collection bottle label matches the numbering and identification on the questionnaire. For each agricultural water source used, the Produce Safety Rule requires multiple samples to be tested from that source in order to establish a water quality profile. Having water quality data over time is especially helpful when looking for the sources of water quality issues. For groundwater sources like wells or springs, 4 samples must be tested during an initial year. For surface water sources like ponds or streams, 20 samples must be tested over a period of 2 years. Because of the multiple testing requirements, it is a good idea to create a schedule for when you will sample. Bacteria testing is time sensitive, and laboratory analysis must be started within 24 hours of when a sample is collected. So plan ahead and be prepared to collect your sample and then promptly take it to the designated drop-off location. Because collecting samples of groundwater and surface water is slightly different, we will highlight specific collection tips for each of these types of sources. The goal in both cases is to get a good representative sample of the water source, collecting during the active growing season when agricultural water is used for various production activities. Prior to the collection day, identify a good sampling area that is consistently accessible and close to the water intake pump. While you have created a schedule of sampling dates, avoid collecting water from surface water sources when you typically would not use the water for produce production activities, such as on a stormy day. Just before sampling, wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds, and then dry hands with paper towels and put on nitrile gloves. This will help prevent cross-contamination of the sample. If you are using a sampling dipper stick for hard-to-reach spots, take the collection bottle out of the sampling kit Ziploc bag, open the bottle, and to avoid touching the inside of the bottle or cap, carefully place the cap in a sanitary place, such as inside the Ziploc bag. Do not place the cap on the ground. Assemble the collection bottle on the end of the dipper stick, making sure it is secure. Use the dipper stick to collect water away from the shoreline, beneath the water surface, yet above the bottom of the source. Remember, the goal is to get a good representative sample and avoid stirring up the water, which could potentially skew your test results. If you do not need a dipper stick, you can simply use a grab sample of the surface water source. When the collection bottle is full to the fill line or shoulder, seal the container by carefully replacing the cap and tightening. As previously mentioned, do not touch the inside or lip of the collection bottle. Prior to the collection day, identify where you will collect the groundwater sample. Typically, you can obtain a representative sample by turning on a spigot that provides water for production areas. For example, you should not sample from the house tap if the house tap water has a chlorinator in the line and the production water as used is not chlorinated. Water collected from the end of a pipe or distribution system should reflect typical conditions during water application. Just before sampling, wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds, then dry hands with paper towels and put on nitrile gloves. This will help prevent cross-contamination of the sample. Turn on the spigot and let the water run long enough so that you are testing water from the water source and not just the water that has been sitting in the pipes or the hose. Depending on your water system, this could be as long as 10 minutes or as short as 5 minutes of flushing time. If you know the volume of your system and flow rate, allow 2 to 3 times the volume of the system to flush prior to sampling. Take the collection bottle out of the sampling kit, envelope, or Ziploc bag. Open the bottle, avoiding touching the inside of the bottle or cap, and carefully place the cap in a sanitary place, such as inside the Ziploc bag. Do not place the cap on the ground. Place the collection bottle under the spigot to collect water, being careful to avoid accidentally touching the spigot with the bottle. When the collection bottle is full to the shoulder or the fill line, seal the container by carefully replacing the cap and tightening. As mentioned previously, do not touch the inside or lip of the collection bottle. After collecting your sample, compare the collection bottle number to make sure that it matches the questionnaire number label. Place the collection bottle in the Ziploc bag, seal the bag, and place in a cooler with ice packs. It is important that the sample be kept cold until it is analyzed in the lab, but make sure the sample doesn't freeze. Remember, bacteria testing is time sensitive, so drop off your sample at the designated drop-off location so it can be processed in a timely fashion.